is according to the act that is being called as an Information Technology Act 2000, and we are having several amendments also into this particular act. So act came into existence in the year 2000, which contains especially about the cyber laws. As we are aware about it, ki cyber crimes nowadays, what we can see that there are the length of these cyber crimes are really very, very, very huge. So for the purposes of controlling the cyber offenses or related to that, when you when you wanted to ring someone today, then you get the message from the government of India that the threats. And I've come across with these type of cases because I'm being associated with the Pune Commissioner Office for the creating an awareness about the cyber crimes with the Pune Police. And for that purposes, we need to have the legal support in that matter in e-commerce in India. All sectors in India, or all e-business, or we can say that it is nothing but a digital economy. And in the digital economy, we are concentrating more on the depending upon the technology, that is the IT. So according to this legislative structure, what we are having about the legal sanctity and electronic document, which is based on the electronic activities. So according to the electronic means of communication, which can be called as an contract of acceptance, and this will have the legal validity and enforceability. Now, two important words I have used here, that is about the legal validity. So validation of the documentation, that is e-documentation. Now, this e-documentation, when we are having enforceable by law, as you must have been studied the Contract Act under Section 2, subclause H, the contract which is being enforceable by law, wherein you can challenge that particular matter in court of law, that is the enforceability. Okay. So as a result of that, the legal structure which is being established under the IT Act 2000, the cyber law, which ensures the information stored in the electronic form, which is its the legal effect, legitimacy, enforceability, and solely it is all because of the electronic form. So Information Technology Act, what it aims the legal framework so that the legal sanctity is accorded to the electronic records and all other activities which is being carried out by the electronic means. Now we are having the smartphones, we are having the laptops, we are having the system or the technology which is being used in anything is being the act is being attracted, that is being called as an Information Technology Act. So this particular how the inception of this act, or the evaluation of this act came into existence. In 1996, we are having the international organization called as the United Nations Commission for on International Trade Law. So we are having under UN, we are having 17 to 18 very important agencies. So under these agencies, as the United Nations Commission on International Trade Law, which is being adopted as a model law for in the electronic commerce, or in short e-commerce, to bring the uniformity in the law in different countries. So the General Assembly of the United Nations recommended that all countries must have considered the model law before making any changes into their own laws. So India became the 12th country to enable the cyber law after it passes the Information Technology Act 2000. So you all are aware about it that we are a signatory party, and we are considering all the guidelines given by the United Nations, that is UN, is being followed by India, because it comes under the first draft which is being drafted by the Ministry of Commerce in Government of India under the E-Commerce Act 1998, and it was being again redrafted as the Information Technology Bill 1999, and the act actually passed in May 2000. So the IT is being passed in the parliament in May 2000, and the president also approved the Technology Act, IT Information Technology Act in 2000, and which actually came into operation on October 17, 2000. In the year 2006, the act was being amended. In the year 2008, again the act is being amended. As a student of management, we know that it is not, the law is not static, but it is a dynamic. As and when the time has changes, the situation changes, the as I mentioned, the cyber crimes also changes, or the rate of the cyber crime is going, the graph is going very high and high. So for the purposes of that, we need to have amendments to the act. Am I clear on this particular point, class? Please tell me so I can go further.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. So the next part, that is, we are going to discuss about the silent features of the act. Now the act, we are in 2025. The act came into existence in 2000, and just see, in these 2 decades, 10 years is 1 decade, so we are having the 2 decades plus 5 years. So there are many changes, but what are the basic factors of this particular act, or the evolvement of the facts of this act, which came into existence in the year 2000? This, it specifically stipulates the subscriber of authentication of the electronic record affixing his digital signature, and further states that any person who can verify that electronic record by the use of public key of the subscriber. Then we are having the electronic governance. As you are aware about it, the electronic governance, uske saath we are having the good governance. We are having in India the good governance day also. So that is a very important aspect of the electronic governance, wherein we are having very transparent system. The results of the MBA entrance is being displayed, and then there is meritorious students get admission according to the merit what they are having. So the law provides the information on any other matter which is being in writing, typewritten, printed form, which can be contained in such law, and such requirements shall be deemed to have been satisfied in the such information or the matter which is being rendered or made available in an electronic form. So which has been accessible, usable for a subsequent references. So can be used afterwards also. So what we are having, we're having all information which is being stored. Now your my lecture is being recorded, can be used, can be utilized for the students who have not attended. So this is all about the IT, which is being given about in the chapter 3 of the Act under the electronic governance. Chapter 4 of the Act says that, which is the scheme of the regulation of the certifying authorities. The controller of certifying authorities who shall perform the functions of exercising supervision over the activities of certifying authorities, which can laying down the standards and conditions governing the certifying authorities. So we are having the certifying authorities, which is being defined in chapter 4 about the regulation of this particular authority. And very important aspect, that is about the digital signature certificates. As we are having in our syllabus also, the main important question is being asked in the examination about the digital signatures and certifying authorities. So chapter 4 clarifies about this particular aspect. Then the act, which is also recognized the need of recognition foreign certification authorities, which has the details about the provisions and the issues and the licenses about the digital signature certificates. Next, chapter 6 of the act deals with in detail about the digital signature certificates and the subscribers, their duties is being explained into this. Chapter 9 of the act is about the penalties and adjudication of the various offenses. Now, the penalties for the damages to computer system, which is being fixed as a damages by way of compensation, wherein it should not be exceeding 1 lakh rupees for the to the affected person. So I came across with cases wherein the damages to the computers, it is about the ethical hacking, ethical hacking. Then it is all about the data which is being without the permission of that particular person is being removed or being taken away, or that IP address is being used for some other documentation. So likewise, there are variety of the offenses which is being enumerated actually into this particular thing that is being called as an offenses, which is being defined under the act, and the penalties are being defined under chapter 9. The act also defines or or discuss about the appointment of any officer not below the rank of director to the government of India or the equivalent officer to the state government as an adjudicating officer who shall adjudicate whether any person has made contravention of any of the provisions of this said act, and who frames the powers of the civil code. So the powers of the civil code, wherein you can take the witnesses, you can impose the compensation on the other party. Now, compensation is a pecuniary thing. It is the money. So you imposes a fine on the other person. In the criminal courts, you are being punished. You go behind the bars. Okay, that is the only difference between the offenses when it is being registered, and how the party is the victims, or the party who goes in the court of law, who appeals for the justice. Now, justice system is very transparent. It requires what? The evidences. So in the July, we have changed the name or the titles of our main important laws. That is, the Indian Penal Code is now Bharatiya Adhiniyam. Indian Evidence Act is now Bharatiya Saksha Adhiniyam. So the evidences supporting to the offenses which is being registered against any accused, and he is being suspected accused, when the judgment given by the honorable courts, from the lower courts to the highest honorable Supreme Court of India, the evidences provided by the parties, it may be the sarkar, that is government, state government. So always the matter in criminal offenses, along with the IT Act, if any pornographic picture of a girl is being posted on social media, it amounts to an offense, because it is without her permission, and that to be, if it is a picture which is being morphed picture, or it is the contents mentioned under that particular picture, so it is nothing but a outgraging the modesty of the women, along with the IT Act. So offenses which is being registered under this particular act, and is being called as cyber crime. But first of all, it is a crime in Indian Penal Code. And uske baad, it is again supported because it is being in a printed form, or a photograph is being shown or something like that. So the IT Act is also being attracted as a cyber crime. Next chapter, chapter 10, speaks about the Cyber Regulation Appellate Tribunal. So establishment of this tribunal is also very important. So it is being called as an appellate body of the appeals, where the orders are being passed by the adjudicating officer, under chapter 10. Chapter 11 speaks about the various offenses which said to be an offenses shall be investigated only by the police officer. Just now I mentioned, there I can tell you number of cases wherein under from section 1 to section 509 of the Indian Penal Code, where the offenses is attracting the IT Act. So the IT Act is being attracted, or the deputy superintendent of police who take the cognizance of it. And you must be aware that we are having the cyber crime department, is separate department, as we are having all over Maharashtra. And of course, at the national level also, we are having this department. Not only national level, we are aware about it, that as international level also, the rate of the cyber crimes are really is really very high. So for the purposes of that, how it is being controlled by the devices, that is being called as an electronic devices, the IT Act attracts over there. So furthermore, when the offenses are include tampering with the computer sources, that is documents, publishing of information, wherein the obscene of the electronic form, and hacking. Now, you must have been heard about the hacking, ethical hacking and unethical hacking. So we are aware about it. There are a number of crimes. One fine morning, from Cosmos Cooperative Bank from Pune. In Pune, we are having the head office near that Omkareshwar. And very early in the morning, one fine morning, the bank got the call from Hong Kong, no, not Hong Kong, Bangkok, and the money was actually it was vanished from the account of the bank. As we have seen, then this type of then evidences has to be collected from where this particular crime is being committed, and so on and so forth. So for the purposes of that, we need to understand how the information is being published, what are the sources, computer sources, and how the documents are being generated, how the documents are being created, how the documents is being used, and so on and so forth. So this is all about using the electronic form. Now under section 65, 66, 67, chapter 11th, who defines the offenses under the IT Act 2000, which is relevant. I'll name one by one, which is very important section for us to understand. Section 65 defines tampering with the computer source document. Now, you as student, you must be knowing that you must have been heard, or if not, I will tell you that some of the culprits who are creating the documents which are being called as a fake document, fake certificates, or fake mark sheets, or fake. I came across with the case a year back, wherein the person who was behind the bar for more than 6 months for creating fake. क्या कहते हैं उसको domicile certificate under Khadak police station. So tampering of the creating the document by using the computer, or fake notes when you use the computer to create. So tampering with the computer source documents number under section 65. 66 speaks about the computer related offenses. You send the mail to someone, or you send a pornographic picture to someone, or you send some a filthy language message to someone. So wherein you are using the devices ka support, in that case it amounts to an offense under section 66. 67, punishment or publishing that or transmitting obscene material in electronic form. So the girls, I came across with the case wherein the girl receiving the message on her Facebook, she was a model and she was receiving the very filthy language messages. Or your money is being, you are being threatened that you may be arrested by the custom department as you have sent XYZ material and it is being caught. And it becomes a very regular practice. Then you receive the message on your computer mail that you have having a क्या कहते हैं उसको you won a big lottery of 10 lakhs rupees, or you are receiving an Apple phone and you are getting this sabun ki takiya into that. So these are the things wherein you are, or the culprits are using, and then in that case they are being punished under section 67 of the Act. Section 71 talks about penalty for misrepresentation. So misrepresentation is that, I'll tell you, that in the web camera, this case belongs to Pune itself. In the property registration, X person, man, introduces Y as his wife, but and it was being proved afterward that the Y was not his wife, legally wedded wife, who did a registration on behalf of his wife. And as you are aware about it, if not, I'll tell you that when you register the document, the government of Maharashtra Revenue Department, they do have the web camera, which is being affixed on that particular laptop or computer. And you have to sign, you have to see in the camera, then your photo is being registered, your thumb impression is being taken. So this is what? This is nothing but the misrepresentation. Now, misrepresentation is defined in our contract also. Fraud, misrepresentation, mistake of fact, mistake of law, and coercion. These are the 5 important things which is being defined under our consent under section 13, 14, 15. Now, misrepresentation through the computers or through using these devices. And then you must have been heard there are a number of news wherein tampering of the evidences. Some of the politicians, they give some statement in front of camera, फिर उसके बाद वो कहते कि नहीं, I have not mentioned this. Now the clips which is being shown in the evidence, and whether that particular evidence is being taken into consideration in courts, yes. Under section 45 of the Bharatiya Saksha Adhiniyam, under the Evidence Act, this particular evidence which is being taken support from computers or audio clips, which is being possessed by maybe from the police department or any individual who wanted to support his say in court of law, is being taken into consideration. And when this type of misrepresentation has been there, under section 71, the penalty is being imposed. Okay. Section 72 speaks about the breach of confidentiality and privacy. Now, right to privacy is one of the very, very important constitutional, fundamental human right of an individual. Right to privacy. So my information should not be shared with anyone else. For example, a very, very famous case from Chennai. A boy who was being admitted in the hospital, his fiancée came to see him in the hospital, and the hospital receptionist told her that he is being admitted in the AIDS ward. The moment the girl come to know that the boy, her fiancé, is admitted in the AIDS ward, she broke that engagement. Now the boy filed a case. The case is very famous case, X versus Y hospital case, because it is right to privacy. According to him, when he made an appeal in court saying that it is my right to have a right to privacy. Agitation was that that girl was having supposed to know about the information about the man with whom she is going to marry, and that to be a vulnerable disease, AIDS. But it is about the right to privacy. Likewise, about the confidentiality. Again, I would like to give you example. Under the hospitality or under the hotel laws, confidentiality is very important. So you possess the data of your guests, the guests who are entering into your hotel, and you are having the data which is being called as an confidential data. Now, the government of India, as a student of management, you are aware about it, that government of India is having various portals. For example, gratuity ke liye, PF ke liye, ESI ke liye, we are having the different portals available on net. And as an employee, you must be registered for that purposes. And once you are being registered, it is for the HR to make the compliances to the government. Once you are having the employee with you, you have to make the compliances with them. So that particular data is nothing but the confidential data. Sorry, you are having your own confidential information wherein you are having your password, which you uses for filling up your information, or it may be with your office about your PF. Now, PF, as you are aware about that, 50% should be given, 3.75% is given, 25% now in 2020 onwards, after the COVID-19, it is 3.75 to the employer and 25% only for the employee, right? So this is all about the confidentiality. So all this data, if it is not being, if it is not secured, if it is being displayed, if it is being used, if it is being hacked, then it amounts to an offense under section 72. 73 is about penalty for publishing the digital signature certificate false in certain particulars. So the false certificate, as you are aware about it, that there are a number of cases, thousands of the cases wherein the fake certificates are being actually uploaded or created or misused or given to someone. So this all amounts to and what? Publishing the certificates by false contents with the contents which are not true. So section 73 is giving penalty for the publishing of this type of false certification. Section 74 speaks about for the fraudulent purpose. Now, as I mentioned earlier, under section 13 about the consent which is being defined in our Contract Act. Therein, they have discussed under section 14 fraud. Now, fraud means what? It is not at all explained about the intention, fraudulent intention in penal laws also, in Indian Penal Code also. It is not, so this is hidden. It is the inside the person when he entered into any action for us as a contract, he is having intention to cheat someone, maybe a individual or a group or an organization or government, non-government, anyone. So the publication of for a fraudulent purposes. So I publish a news on my blog about someone, information, defamation, defamatory statement or something like that, or tweet. Now you must be knowing now all this social media or on Insta. Now the youngsters, your generation wanted to put everything on that Insta. So I always guide to my dear girl students that don't put your pictures. Nowadays, AI says that your voice, which is being recorded, can be used or rather misused. And we are having thousands of the cases of this, registered cases, offenses. Okay. So these are the very important sections 60, 65, 66, 70, 67, 71, 72, 73, 74. Okay. Under chapter 11, which is especially discussed about the offenses under the IT Act 2000. Fine. Now what is the necessity of this act? When the act came into existence, which applies to whole of India, about the any offenses or the contraventions committed even outside the territorial jurisdiction of Republic of India, the person irrespective of his nationality. Now here I would like to give some scale clarification to class, that the territorial jurisdiction, extraterritorial jurisdiction is defined in our penal laws. Within the territory of India, if any crime committed has to be punished, has to be taken into consideration in India. When it is being, the crime is being committed outside India, but the cognizance can be taken in India. Okay. Like there are so many incidences of terrorism wherein the act actually held in India. So I would like to give certain examples wherein this 26/11, 9/11, all these attacks is being controlled by somewhere else. Then one more very recent example I would like to give you, that is about that Rana is being called in extradition from London, in because he's involved. His involvement was being proved by the government of India, and now we wanted his extradition. Extradition means we are calling that accused from outside because he has committed crime in India. He's basically a Pakistani, then has taken the Canadian citizenship. So consider himself as a Canadian citizen now, but fir bhi committed a crime in India in that blast. So we want the extradition of that particular offender. So that's why the important part of this particular act is having a very great importance in the eyes of law in the today's juncture. Then the primary necessity wherein we need to, number one, is granting the legal recognition to all transactions done through the electronic data exchange and electronic communication, e-commerce, in place of the earlier, we used to have the paper-based communication. As I gave you the example wherein we are having the registration, if you want to register any document, anything, buying, selling, adoption, anything, then in that case, you are having the electronic document, which is being possessed by the government of Maharashtra, because you are doing the document in Maharashtra state, and which is being possessed and in the electronic form, as well as you are having the actual document in your hand, printed document in black and white, and under the mutation register also, you are entering that. But otherwise, in the Maharashtra ka portal, if you click on the name Jyoti Madhukar Pawar, that is my name, you can, if you are having that particular portal ka access, you will come to know where I stay and what are my details and so on and so forth. So this is all about what paper-based communication is being eradicated. And as we are emphasizing more on from the kindergarten school as well as from the primary school education about the MSCIT and all that. So it is all about the expansion and extraordinary efforts the government is taking. Now the tab is being circulated and being distributed amongst the school in the schools for the purposes of enhancing the e-commerce, digitalization. Everything is digitalized. So everything which is on the portals, as your PAN, your Aadhaar, your passport, all your information. In the rationing office also nowadays, you have to give your thumb impression, and then you get the whatever is being distributed on rationing. So that is what the computerization, or in the globalization, the importance is for digital world. Okay. Number two is legal recognition for the signature, for the authentication of the information or the matters requiring for the authentication. Then third is facilitating the electronic filing of the document with different government departments and also the agencies. As the student of management, you are aware about the scholarships given by the government of Maharashtra, and you are having the portal given by the Maharashtra government, wherein you are filling your form and you are getting the details you are fulfilling, and that it is directly being deposited in your bank account, which is being linked with your Aadhaar. Your Aadhaar, your PAN, everything is being linked to your bank account and it is being deposited. So it becomes very, very important aspect of it that the government, all departments and all its agencies are interlinked with each other. When I'm having my PAN card and I'm paying through digital by smartphone, or I'm doing any digital payment, it is being linked to my PAN card. So on one click, the government of India income tax department, they are aware about it, how much expenditure and what is my income. So that's why you are having the transparency in what? In the actual performance of that individual finances. And that's why the economic sale or other sales are really very active, because the government departments are linked with your transactions. Next is facilitating the electronic storage of data. You are having the supercomputers, you are having the data storage, you are having the very variety of the storage facilities, and for the purposes of the storage of data, which is being defined under this particular act. Next is providing the legal sanctions for electronic transfer of funds between the banks and the financial institutions. As I made it clear about the documentation, I will take that particular example. Nowadays, you have to do the franking. So you have to pay digitally to the government of Maharashtra. Then all e-banking, everything is so channelized on the tip of your fingers. You can operate your banks. You need not to go to the banks and wait in the queues. Then you must have been seen, there are number of advertisement as being shown on the television set. For example, I would like to tell you about that ACKO ka insurance company, about your vehicles and all that. Sara Ali Khan and her father gives that particular advertisement. So it is about the financial institutions also being attracted. Rather, they are giving the at your doorstep, they are giving you the service, which is very easy. Amitabh Bachchan has given advertisement for that ICICI Bank account can be in Janadhana Yojana. You can start your own account. So that is the legal sanction which is being facilitating individuals in transferring their funds, keeping their funds, controlling their funds in the financial institutions, which is also being attracted. And then, of course, we are having so many cases also of fraud, misuse of data, misuse of that information, so on and so forth. And lastly, the sixth point is granting the legal recognition to the bankers for keeping the books of accounts in electronic form, and granted under the Indian Evidence Act, as I mentioned. Now it is being called as an Indian Saksha Adhiniyam, and Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. Okay, so these are the important points from the inception of this IT Act, how the Act is being called as a necessary, and what are the core points or the important points, what are being called various chapters under this Act, what is being called as an offenses, and how the data, personal data is being secured, how this other principles of data protection, and at the national level as well as at the international perspectives, how we are dealing with that. So these are the very important aspect in the introductory session of mine. I have introduced. Anand sir, are you available in the meeting? So I just wanted to know how much time I have, because it's 7:52. If I have some more time, so I can discuss some of the definitions, or fine. Um, So the important definition under this particular act, the definition given under section 2 subclause 1A is granting entry, instructing, communicating with the logical, arithmetical, or the memory functions resources of the computer or the computer systems or the computer network, it is being called as an SSS, ACCESS. So which means that gaining the entry, instructing, communicating with a logical record and with the memory functions of resources of the computer and the computer system and the computer network. Number two is second definition, important definition, that is being called as an addressee. Section 2 subclause 1B, which means that the person who is intended by the originator to receive the electronic record but does not include any intermediate. So the in between there is no one. It is the original person or the originator to receive the electronic record, and he is not including anyone in between as an intermediator. So he's being called as an addressee according to the definition given under section 2, subclause 1B. Subclause 1F says that about the crypto system, asymmetric crypto system, which means that a system of a secure key pair consisting of private key for creating a digital signature and public key to verify the digital signature. So that is about the keys, private key and public key, which is being used and it is being defined under the asymmetric crypto system, section 2, subclause 1F. Section 2, 1H, about the certification practice statement, which means that the statement which issued by certifying authority to specify the practices that certifying authority employs in issuing the digital signature certificate. Next definition, section 2, subclause HA, communication device. The communication devices means the cell phones, personal digital assistants, combination of both cell phones. So this is very important communication device for all of us, which device used to communicate, send to transmit any text, video, audio, or image. And another important definition, that is definition of computer. Section 2, subclause I defines under the IT Act, computer means any electronic, magnetic, optical, or other high-speed data processing device or a system which perform logical, arithmetic, memory functions by manipulations of electronic, magnetic, or optical impulses, which include all inputs, outputs, processing, storage of the computer software or communication which facilitate which are connected or related to the computer in a computer system or computer network. Okay, I'll repeat this particular definition is important for all of us to understand well how many functions are being governed by the computer. So computer means any electronic, magnetic, optical, or other high-speed data processing device or a system which performs what? Logical, arithmetic, memory functions by manipulation of electronic, magnetic, or optical impulses, which includes all inputs, outputs, processing, storage, processing, storage, computer software, or communication facilities which are connected or related to the computer in a computer system and computer network. So this is the definition given under section 2, subclause I of the Act. Now, what is computer network? The next definition I would like to narrate. Computer network means the interconnection of one or more computers or the computer system or communication device through number one, the use of satellite, microwave, then wire or wireless or other communication media. Number one. Number two says that the terminals or the complex consisting of two or more interconnected computers or communication devices, whether or not interconnection is continuously maintained. This is the definition of the computer network. So it is it is with the wire or wireless or through the use of satellite. Next definition is computer resources, section 2K, which means that the computer system, computer network, computer data, computer database, or the software. Computer system is defined under section 2, subclause 1I, L. It means that the device or the collection of the devices, including the input or output support devices, excluding the calculators which are not programmable or capable of being used in conjunction with the external files which contain computer programs, electronic instructions, input data or output data, which perform the logic, arithmetic, data storage, and retrieval of the communication control and other functions. So, computer system. I would like to repeat this particular definition, which is important definition for us to understand about the device, which means the device or collection of the devices. So it may be the gathering of the many computers also, including the input and output support devices, excluding the calculators which are not programmable and capable of being used in conjunction with the external files which contain the computer programs, electronic instructions, input of data, output of data, and performs the logic, arithmetic, data storage, and retrieval. We can get the data, right? The communication control and other functions. So that is being called as an computer system under section 2, subclause 1L. Next definition, cyber cafes means the facility from where the access to the internet is being offered by any person in the ordinary course of business to the members of the public. So you must be knowing that there are a number of cases held by the cyber cafe, or nowadays there are very few cafes because the net is available everywhere, Wi-Fi is available almost everywhere. So we're having very less cyber cafes. But earlier we used to have the cyber cafes sub nukkad pe, and the actually incidences also occurs, or it is being facilitator center also. That is what we can say. Cyber security under section 2, subclause 1N, subclause B. Cyber security means protecting information, equipment, devices, of the various computers, computer resources, communication devices, and the information which is being stored therein from unauthorized access, uses, disclosures, disruptions, modification, and destructions. Cyber security. Under cyber security is being covered many aspects of securing the data from in the device that is being called as a communication device, or the information which is being stored and who is having the access for that. So that is being called as a cyber security. Next definition that is being called as a data, section 2, subclause 1O, which means that representation of the information, knowledge, facts, concepts, or instructions which are being prepared or have been prepared in a formalized manner, and it is being intended to be processed or has been processed in a computer system or a computer network, or maybe in any form, including the computer printouts in the magnetic or optical storage media, punching cards or punch tapes, or store internally in the memory of the computer. So these are the 10-12 definitions we have discussed. I think the time is it's 8 o'clock. So can I leave the meeting, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it is from 7 to 8, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Tomorrow I'm not available. I'm having one family function. Day after tomorrow onwards, we'll continue with the session, sir.
Okay,
I
ma'am.
heard that you are having lined up session, continuous session, right? 7 to 8, 8 to 9, like that.
Yes,
Is it?
ma'am.
So?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good night, sir. Good night. Good night, class.
Good night.